I think content will be more important than ever.
Welcome to the Multilingual Content Podcast, where experts discuss international content management, product localization, and global expansion. I'm Caterina from Undertow. We create and manage localization programs for B2B SaaS companies so they can grow globally. Today, our founder, Nicola Calabrese, is joined by Alex Casals, founder of Tacmind, to talk about one of the biggest shifts happening right now in the digital marketing, AI-powered search. We will explore how AI is changing the way people discover products, what that means for SEO as we know it, and why multilingual content, localized websites, and region-specific strategies matter more than ever in this new search landscape. So, if you're scaling internationally and wondering how to stay visible when answers come from AI instead of search results, this episode is for you. So, without further ado, let's dive in.
Hi, Alex, and welcome to the Multilingual Content Podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Nicola. Well, thanks. And thanks for inviting me here.
It's a pleasure. Today, we're going to talk about AI search and how that's changing everything. It is changing SEO and everything. But before we jump right into today's topic, would you mind introducing yourself a little bit to our audience?
Yeah, sure. I'm Alex from Barcelona. I have two kids. Pretty hard having a startup and two kids at the same time, but we keep pushing. And yeah, really happy to talk about Tacmind and how it evolved and what I made before. And yeah, happy to talk more about the company.
Yeah. So you recently launched Tacmind, and after the success with Taclia, so I was wondering, what strategic insights from your previous product influenced these new ventures approach to AI-driven market visibility?
Yeah, sure. Well, we still manage Taclia as an all-in-one software for SMBs. And yeah, we are multi-feature and multi-sector, right? And we are PLG. It's product growth, so no sales team here. So we had to learn a lot how to capture companies, how to do go-to-market, how to be really aggressive capturing leads. So we had to develop a lot of stuff in order to make good go-to-market. So that's why we learned a lot. We still learn every week, but we learned a lot how to capture thousands and thousands of SMBs. So we were really updated of what to do with strategies, with campaigns, and we always wanted to try new things and be really advanced compared to the rest of the market, right? So internally, we started developing tools for that. And we saw that a lot of other startups and other companies were like, hey, how are you capturing so many companies? And how are you doing this or that? And we saw that we started applying a lot of AI in how to target these customers. And when we made video calls with other startups, there were 5 people or 10 people connected from the other side. And we're like, fuck, there's a pain here, right? So they really, to know how we do it, they really want to apply AI. We made agentic stuff when it was pretty new and was connected to ChatGPT. We're not doing the tech. It's really easy, but we were doing it in the beginning, right? So why don't we develop this tool that we're using internally? Because we were doing Tacmind internally. Why don't we develop this tool for other companies, right? And what we saw as well is that AI is not for all the customers, right? And the customers of Taclia, they were not, with more AI, we were not adding more value to their daily basis, right? But we could add a lot of value for other companies that have brands and they have a product right now. And they are really, really thinking okay, what can I do? People is looking in AI, is decreasing the usage of the old school Google. So yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, it's quite, again, it's a little bit of serendipity, coming across something you were not expecting. And it's a really nice story, to be honest. And what I'm wondering is, since connected to Tacmind and AI search, so since AI search is expected to handle around 50% of the queries by 2028,
yep.
What fundamental shift are you seeing in how companies need to rethink their digital marketing and discoverability strategy, how they get found out online?
Yeah. Things that we talk with our companies right now that they were like, okay, Alex, is this SEO, the previous strategy I had, it's working right now? No, do I have to change for everything? And a lot of companies had 40% of organic growth and they're worried. So I think it's changing because then it's obvious it's easier for the final customer to look through AI conversation rather than the click. We talk about now the 0-click movement, and they first, and it's obvious they need to be, what's their position? I was literally 2 hours ago talking to a consumer brand, a company, really big one, and they are saying what's the situation right now, like premium products or cheap products, where to buy, blah, blah, blah. Tell me different brands or blah, blah, blah. So first is to know where they are, and then they have to work hard in how to be there. And then there are like two walls. The first one is third-party citations. So it's not your own company. So it's not your own domain. So to know where you need to be, which links, which blogs, which media. And then the other part is you need to change your website, your structure, your code in order to be discovered.
And how does Tacmind fit into this? Like, how can actually companies maybe use Tacmind to improve their positioning?
For example, imagine you're SaaS for bets, for example, and you have a SaaS and you're the owner of this SaaS, right? So first of all, you need to add to Tacmind the different prompts, the different questions that your final consumer will do. Like, for example, recommend me 3 SaaS for bets. Recommend me the 2 best options, the SaaS for bets, or I want to optimize my clinic. What do I do? Or I need a CRM that captures information of animals, whatever. I know about this. So you think about the different prompts that you have, right? And we have, for example, insurance company. So they have a topic for insurance for pets. So then they have a lot of prompts, the question that okay. And then we have another topic can be insurance for traveling. That if you want to travel and you want to activate an insurance, then the prompts about traveling. Well, so first you decide the prompts, then you press the button activate, and since you press it every day, it runs in the software and it tells you other companies that are there and other companies that are in the answer of the specific prompt. You can match it every day. So you can see your position, your competitor's position, and see how it evolves in a daily basis. It runs. The more prompts you have, the more information you have about the results, right? So you have an overview, graphs, dashboard and stuff to see where you are in terms of position. And then it's really important. You see the citations. Citations are the sources where the AI looks for the information. Imagine that they look for sassforbets.com, whatever, or thepleasantbed.com, whatever. You find out different blogs that maybe you didn't expect that the answer is there. So you can see for every prompt, the different citations that you have, the different sources that you have. So for the marketing team, it's really, really good because they know where to go, right? They can see, oh, wow, there's this blog here that it was really good. This blog's there that was really good. And imagine you can also do it for regions like software for bets in Sevilla, software for bets in, so you can make it really spread. You have more information and maybe you can go to specific like niche blogs that have a lot of authority in terms of citations and make you be there. And then you go work on it. And that's a summary of how it works.
It's simplifying a very complex process. Yeah.
Yeah. Internally, it's pretty complex. We work really hard. There is a lot of, developers thing that I'm really proud of. And yeah.
And with all this uncertainty around AI, like there's many tech leaders that are unsure like about their go-to-market strategies. Maybe they need to adapt them. Like what kind of advice maybe you will give to tech leaders and founders that want to adapt their approach in this new, let's say, AI age?
First is to see where they are. It's important. The situation is like check. It's our module of visibility. And then you see the citations, third parties and owned. It's really important to know where are the answers, where they come from. So otherwise you invest in other stuff, in other blogs, in other media that maybe it's not powerful for the prompts you want to manage. So the first step is visibility. Then the second one is action hub. Okay. I have to be there and whatever. And the number of citations. So for every citation, every source, you know how many times the AI uses it, depending on your prompt. So you can know where to go, right? Also, our software tells you what to do. We have a module called Content Wins that say, hey, do this, do that, try to be there, try to be whatever. So we have tips depending on the results. So we consider the prompt volume. We consider your share of voice, depending on the prompts. We consider the competitors. We consider things that you can do because, of course, for example, you cannot be in the blog of your competitor, right? So other software say, hey, you should be there. It's like, it's my competitor. I cannot be there. And then the next part is your own website. Okay. For example, there's a big chain of pizzeria here in, Barcelona, but it's really, really big with a lot of restaurants. They have the domain is blah, 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 wherever, .com/find us. They don't say /restaurants. So this kind of changes has to be made in the website to be easier for the AI to find it. Like, or you have a product company, product with no alcohol, for example. They don't have in the structure of the web page, blah, blah, .com/product/non-alcoholic/ they don't have it. So if you compare their brand to other brands, AI doesn't understand, for example, that they don't have no-alcoholic brands. So it's going again to be more conversational and have the information there. And for example, try to avoid copies in the contact form like, we're here with you. No, now have to say, our customer support team is between, 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. So it's more a conversation rather than having an amazing website with different effects.
Sorry to interrupt your listening, but do you want to grow your B2B SaaS in international markets? Because every country is different, and what users value in one market doesn't necessarily matter in another one. At Undertow, we help B2B SaaS companies like yours succeed in their international expansion. We create customized localization strategies that address the unique challenges of each market. In this way, you can effectively attract, engage, and convert customers worldwide. Visit undertowlanguages.com to find out more. And now back to the show. A couple of things that I wanted to ask you on this. So the first one, you mentioned citation. So do you have any advice, or do you think that the process and the strategy is changing considerably to like getting mentioned in other blogs, forums, and other platforms to enhance the AI visibility? Is it like similar to what was done before with, let's say, traditional SEO or when you're doing PR, or is there anything different that it should be considered? It's just more maybe investing more in this because it's more relevant, or any advice around that?
It's really similar. The ones that make a good job in SEO are having good results. So now we talk about, blah, 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 but it's like old school. It doesn't change a lot, but the thing is to know exactly where to be and to change the website to be more conversational. But the ones that invested a lot in good SEO, they have this advantage. Now there are a lot of companies looking for it, and they're like, wow, again, I have to activate it, right? Also PR. I'm generalizing, of course, but a lot of people against PR, and it makes no sense, blah, blah, blah. But what we see right now is that you have third-party citations are generally better than own citations. So third-party with the media that is powerful, like here, El País, whatever. So like 1 year ago, maybe it was like, yeah, okay, I have a press release. Well, maybe I have, 100 views, whatever. I have no customers. Fuck it, right? Now it's like, oh, I want to be there, right? And it's like, say dichotomy in English, dichotomia, right? Because it's the number of traffic for this kind of news website is decreasing, but AI is using them, right? So I think it's a good opportunity to invest and be there, because it will not be for one day. It will be a good citation for your specific prompt.
And the other thing that I want to ask you a little bit more about is the technical optimization. So you mentioned already the URL, make it more conversational, and the copy on the page. You said like the example you gave about like let's say saying explicitly the contact hours of the help center and the support team. Is there any other like technical adjustment maybe that needs to be done, or that you will recommend?
Another tip is to add frequent asked questions in every landing, not the frequent asked questions in a remote part of the product, like a general page of frequent asked questions. For in every landing, the frequent asked questions, because it's a way to make it conversational, right? So try to think a lot of different questions that can have the customer about your specific page. Like, do you serve to other countries? In your case with Undertow that you made a good job, do you have with different languages? So if they use Undertow, I'm pretty sure they will have, do you use different languages? Yes, we have different languages, blah, blah, for every landing, because otherwise AI wouldn't find it. And maybe it's, a German consumer, whatever, that he wants to know if there's German language, and otherwise it can be a strategic advantage, not only to use underdog for your software, but also to be in the results of prompts asking for different languages, for example. Yeah, I said that from the previous point of the citations, I made an example of a really big media like El País here in Spain. And maybe some people that are now listening to the podcast are like, yeah, but I don't have budget for this, or it's hard. No, what I want to say is that what is crazy is that you can see really, really good opportunities of blogs that you didn't knew before, and really small blogs that have a lot of authority here. Like we have a hotel chain. Okay. They have the best 10 hotels in León, for example, is an area there. There's a blog, it's something, I don't remember exactly, but it's like discoverleon.com or something that has a lot of authority there. So it's not only being in the hard ones to be or the expensive ones, you can also be there. We were talking this morning with a customer. It's like macro influencers or micro influencers, right? Citations is about combining it, and you have a lot of opportunities in citations that if you don't use software, I'm sure it will be under the radar because you cannot know where to be.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure if the more niche is the market that you're serving, maybe there's more like, let's say, less known website will be really good to be mentioned by them. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And before you mention like let's say the language and international part of this. So I'm wondering, with these changes, and does it change, or how would it affect the strategy, like the content strategy, the website in different languages for serving different regions? Because I'm assuming like the questions that people are asking are changing even more, I would say, than like SEO. You have keywords that are different across countries. With prompt, I'm assuming it's even more the case.
Yeah, good point. You can choose the region you want to analyze the prompts, and then you can choose the language of the prompts. So the language of how the user is writing it. Like you can choose Italy as a region and Italian as the language of the prompts, or you can change it. And yeah, the results change a lot, and it's obvious the citation too. So companies that have multi-countries or multi-regions, they have different workspaces. And for every workspace, they choose region and language.
Yeah, that's quite useful. Yeah, because I mean, it changes quite a lot, and I'm sure like you cannot, like with SEO, you cannot just translate the keywords and hope for the best. Probably I'm assuming with AI, it's something similar. You cannot just translate the prompt you have maybe in English and hope that they're exactly the same in different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also use other platforms because automatically we propose the topics and the prompts that Tacmind makes automatically, but then you can add the prompts that you want or whatever. So it's good to use also translation services because you need to know exactly how they look for it in other countries.
Yeah, I mean, what we usually do when we approach SEO, for example, we literally do keyword study, like keyword research in the different countries, because you can find, you'll be surprised sometimes there may be like a low-hanging fruit in, let's say you're going to Germany. There's a set of keywords that in English are overused. In Germany, actually, they're underserved. So that's a big opportunity. So you can change and shift the strategy according to the different country. And when it comes on the, let's say, organization, apart from the technology, what do you think, like at a level of a company level, like the mindset, the people working on content and website, they should, something that maybe the approach, they might change a little bit since with AI search, things are changing. Is there anything like the way they're organized, the way they're looking at things, maybe?
That's maybe more personal because there are companies doing a really, really good job that don't have it internally. They have it with agencies. And I think it's also a good strategy, but I think content will be more important than ever. And they have to consider it. I think before that content was maybe more an abstract word. Oh, we need to do content, and maybe it was not for 99% of the companies. It was not a pillar of their strategy, but it really changed a lot. So first of all, content is really, really important and really technique. So marketing is evolving, I think. So every time you need to know more about tech stack, how to measure dashboards, reports. So I see that marketing teams are really doing a good effort. People are studying about AI. They are changing a little bit the mindset. And then what I think is that sometimes they have to accept that everything is changing. And when I talk to some companies, I would say like 30% of them are, yeah, I know that our web page is not good because it's not, for example, they have a one-page website, but big companies and medium companies, they have one page. It's like, yeah, but we will not change it because we changed it last year. So for me, it is argument is like, fuck, yeah, you changed that here, but I mean, you will have a problem. So everything is changing and they need to adapt.
And what I'm wondering here is, because since things are changing, like the first movers have an advantage. And my question is, like, do you see or do you know, like, if it's like to see results from starting implementing this kind of changes and seeing results, is it like quicker than traditional SEO? Is it the same? Because usually traditional SEO, you start a strategy, you cannot expect to have results until like 3-6 months minimum. And sometimes it takes even longer than that.
Yeah, it's faster because you can measure it and you see the citations, you have the content wins. It's not fast to be the first one. I mean, yeah, I have a sneakers company. I want to be in the first position and not Nike. So yeah, it will not be in 2 weeks, but it's faster at least because you can measure it.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming, like, again, with people like adapting to this, again, there might be people that take a little bit more time to adapt and people that are quicker. So that might give some kind of advantage.
When they press the play button and they start seeing how the prompts evolve because they run every day. So every day you see the dashboard, how it's growing or decreasing. So you see the status of your brand compared to others. And it's pretty easy to see the citations, etc. So you have quick wins. And we, for example, offer 5 or 10 insights every month. So action plans that you can do. So every month we propose with the software different things you can apply, right? So it's easy to know what to do and see your evolution. And then to see new players as well, because you can think that you know everything and you know all the competitors, and then appears another brand like, oh, what are they doing and why? And you can see the sources and citations, so you really know where they appeared. And the good thing is that you can also create prompts talking about your competitors. So you can be like in their company. You can use Tacmind as if you were them, right? So you can compare the competitors with you. And you can create another workspace, for example, to understand the customers. Or, for example, another example is we were talking to a company that sells pet food. They were doing prompts about the final consumer, like how to get pet food, which brand of pet food you recommend, which brand of pet food you recommend for my schnauzer or whatever. Okay. And then we were like, wow, let's create a topic about where to buy pet food. Where to buy pet food in Sevilla, where to buy pet food in Barcelona. They track it. They can see the shops there and the B2B team, they're selling there because they know that the retailer, the shop is mentioned there. So you can assume that the final consumer, if they look for a shop, this shop is well positioned. Maybe there's a blog saying best pet shops in Sevilla or in Barcelona or in Milan, whatever. They go there to sell it. It's a good strategy. Yeah, you can be really creative.
And it's great because it gives you visibility. Otherwise you're a little bit like going blindly around with that. It's something new and it's not like, you might do things hoping for the best. That's the idea. Well, here you get a guidance on where to go, what's working, what's not. And so a final question. If you could share like one piece of advice to SaaS founders that are looking to leverage AI in the market expansion strategy, what would it be?
You mean generally or in concrete to be found in AI? Or
yeah, specifically around AI. Be found like in this changing environment with AI search increasingly becoming important, like one piece of advice for them.
Content rocks. I never say advices. I'm not comfortable saying it because I have mistakes every week, so I don't feel a guru of anything. So what I would say, when I say it's a fact, it's not Alex advice, it's a fact. Content.
Content is key. It's still
content
key.
Is key. Yeah. You can do a website in 2 hours now with Lovable, but you have to invest in content and be there and be strategic and be coherent, because sometimes you say my brand does whatever, and then in another article we do another thing. So this kind of stuff is really bad for the AI when they have to find for proper answers.
Yeah, so it needs to be like coherent, clear, like good quality in the sense answering questions that people are asking. Yeah, that's great. So thank you so much for joining the Multilingual Content Podcast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us today. The Multilingual Content Podcast is powered by Undertow. We help B2B SaaS companies grow in any language. Get in touch if you want to know more. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episode. If you want to support us, remember to give 5 stars to the podcast. See you next time.